You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. On Tuesday's show, we were looking at the preseason ESPN FPI. And that's the Football Power Index, a computer system, throws a bunch of data in there, simulates the season 20,000 times, boom, there's the results. And LSU had projected to win 7.9 games. So eight wins, 30% chance of making the playoff, 1.8% chance of winning the national championship. And I went, 8 wins. That seems like a crazy low number for all the talent that this team has. You know, I go into every football season, and the way that I gauge my projection for a team is, and this isn't new, if you listen or have listened or watched for any length of time, you've heard me say this. I say who has the fewest questions against the most manageable schedule. A year ago, I was not super high on LSU because you lost the Heisman winning quarterback. You lost your offensive coordinator to Notre Dame and Mike Denbrock. You had the worst defense in LSU history the season prior, and we thought you'd be better, but weren't sure how much better. So you're replacing both coordinators, lost a Heisman-winning quarterback, 2 first-round picks at receiver. There were a ton of questions on that team a year ago, and you obviously had a very difficult schedule. So tempering expectations a year ago was probably the right thing. I keep looking at this LSU team, and I go, man, you've got the leading returning passer in college football. You've got your top receiver back, your top running back returning. You went and added 18 guys in the portal. You got better at every level of your defense. You're returning Harold Perkins off of injury. You're returning Jacobian Guillory off of injury. You've got Whit Weeks back coming off of an all-SEC season. I'm looking around going, even in special teams, Damian Ramos is back. I'm going, what am I missing here? You've got continuity on your coaching staff with both coordinators returning. Like, you've got very few questions. The one real question that they have is the offensive line, but even still, you return a starter in DJ Chester. You went and added 2 starters in the transfer portal in Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson. You got a couple of former top 100 players at offensive tackle. Yes, giant shoes to fill in Will Campbell and Emory Jones, but very athletic, capable shoes. Like, few questions. And the schedule's manageable. It's why I've said, man, like, I just hammer the over 8.5. I can't see them dropping below 9-3, but for this team, the expectation needs to be 10-2, because 10-2 is going to get you in the playoff. Remember, Ohio State won the championship a year ago. They were 10-2 in the regular season. So the days of seeing teams just blitzkrieg through a season, go undefeated, I just don't know that we're going to see that very commonly, if ever, anymore. Oregon was the only undefeated team, and they lost in the playoff, as we know. We'll get right back to the video, but I promise this is worth the wait. Here to tell you about a brand new apparel brand with officially licensed LSU gear. It's Section 103. So, watching the Tigers to and through Omaha are gearing up for football season. Make sure you check out section103.com. All the apparel, hats, shirts, hoodies, stuff for men, women, kids, even the wee Tiger fans, the little Tiger babies. They got you covered over at Section 103. Everything looks great, super comfortable. The guys came to LSU's campus to learn about the tradition, so you're going to find unique designs, literally, that you won't find anywhere else. It's section103.com. And remember, use the promo code AFR and get 10% off your order at section103.com. Thrilled to welcome Section 103 here as a new partner. Section103.com, promo code AFR for 10% off. Go Tigers. Enjoy the rest of the video. I asked Jimmy Ott, I was like, hey, Jimmy, we've seen the early line on LSU Clemson, and Clemson's a 2.5-point favorite in that game. And I get it, right? I mean, that's if that were you get 3 points for being at home, that effectively says that's a pick 'em on a neutral site. But Clemson, a 2.5-point favorite at home, okay, I get it. Night game, Clemson, they return Cade Klubnik. They were a playoff team a year ago. I get Dabo's won a championship. I get it. I get why that line is what it is, and that'll generate a lot of action on both sides. But I'm looking going, okay, where else is LSU realistically going to be an underdog? So I asked Jimmy, if you remember this, to send me whatever lines that he had, and he sent me 4. He said LSU would be a 7.5-point home favorite against Florida and a 5-point home favorite against A&M. And on the road, they'd be a 2.5-point underdog against Ole Miss and a 6.5-point underdog against Alabama. Well, today in my inbox, BetOnline sent me an email with point spreads for 31 college football games this year, 31 premier college football games this year. And how did the Otter do? Remember, Jimmy said LSU would be a 7.5-point favorite against Florida at home in Baton Rouge. According to BetOnline, LSU, a 7-point favorite at home against Florida. So Otter nails that one. Said Ole Miss LSU would be a 2.5-point dog at Ole Miss. According to BetOnline, LSU, a 2.5-point dog at Ole Miss. Otter nailed that one. He said LSU would be a 5-point home favorite against A&M. BetOnline has LSU a 4.5-point favorite at home against A&M. We'll give him that within a half a point. And he said LSU would be a 6.5-point underdog at Alabama. According to BetOnline, LSU, a 6.5-point underdog at Alabama. So Otter, can we get a big round of applause for our guy? The Odd Father. Here we go. Hey, when you're hot, you're hot. Or is it when you're hot, you're hot? When you're hot, you're hot. What do we say? When you're hot, you're hot.
When you're hot, you're hot.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah.
I'll go with it. But even still, if you assume that holds, LSU loses Clemson, Ole Miss, Bama, you're 9-3. You're still over the 8.5 wins. And remember, Jimmy also told us that if LSU starts the season strong, they'll very likely then be favored by the time they get to that Ole Miss game. And that's one that I'm going to circle and say, I think Ole Miss is in for a world of hurt this year. Again, if I'm looking at the metric of fewest questions against most manageable schedule, I look at Ole Miss, and that's a team that loses their fifth-year senior starting quarterback in Jackson Dart. They lose their All-American receiver in Trey Harris. On the defensive side of the ball, they are losing all of those transfers they brought in: Walter Nolan, Princely, Uman Mielen, Trey Amos, Chris Paul. This is an Ole Miss team that was all in a year ago and now is seeing a dramatic exodus of talent. Maybe Austin Simmons is great at quarterback. I don't know if he will be. And yes, that game is in Oxford, but it's in September. Ole Miss might be one of those teams that come November is better than they are in September as they continue to get better and guys more experience. But that's one that I look at and go, kind of like LSU in that ball game going on the road at Ole Miss. And yes, the game at Alabama, I understand exactly why any odds maker is going to put LSU as a touchdown underdog on the road in Tuscaloosa. Now, regardless of what I think, the bottom line is LSU got the doors blown off of them the last 2 years because their inability to stop who? Jalen Milroe. Well, guess who ain't there anymore? Jalen Milroe. But I get it. You want to look at the decal on the side of the helmet? Okay. Game's on the road. I get it. LSU hasn't fared well against them. But LSU's had a dramatic infusion of talent defensively, and the guy that was the problem for you a year ago isn't there. And I got news, Kat. Ty Simpson ain't running around like Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is a special athlete. He's a terrible thrower of the football, but he is a special athlete who beat LSU's brains in running the football, just like Marcel Reed did. So I look at this, and I remember, what Brian Kelly, this is a familiar refrain I think we're going to hear. What Brian Kelly said at the SEC spring meetings last week when he was talking about this roster and the expectation on this roster.
This is the best roster we've put together since I've been at LSU. And it takes time to put the roster together. Nobody has time for that. I get that. But we've developed our players, younger players in our program. We've taken some licks because of it. And we added some veteran players. So my eye is that this is the best roster we had. Now we got to go prove it.
It's the best roster you've had. Now you got to go prove it. It's the best roster you've had. Now you got to go prove it. So go prove it. Got a great opportunity. Some of those point spreads out. We'll look for more of them as we get closer to and through the season. By the way, if you want all 31 of those point spreads that I referenced, it's not just SEC. It's just 31 of the premier games of college football after week one. They're at LouisianaSports.net. It's up there. It's on the homepage. And again, at LouisianaSports.net, everything always free. So if you can pull this up, Holly. If you go to the homepage, louisianasports.net, you'll see it right there on the column under latest stories, and you'll see all 31 games right there. Like Michigan at Oklahoma. How about Oklahoma, a 1.5-point favorite against Michigan in that game? A&M, a touchdown underdog at Notre Dame, but Florida, 4-point underdog at Miami. Georgia, a 4-point home favorite against Alabama. Anyway, they're all there. It's 31 games. If you want to check out the point spreads, you can do it right now at louisianasports.net. It's totally free. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.